Hi guys, good morning. Issues that concerns women across all sectors. My name is Tiana Waldbrasi, and I'm excited to have you guys join me on today's episode. I have with me here my co-host.
Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome to another beautiful, exciting edition of Every Woman.
Aja has a different glow today, guys. Guess what?
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, so this is all of us here wishing IJ a happy birthday. Happy birthday, IJ. You look amazing.
You look amazing as well. I like your gown.
Thank you. All right, guys, so today we're looking at the role of youth in electoral campaigns. Let's just call it electoral process generally, because, I mean, the campaigns are not the only thing that makes up the elections and electoral process, yeah? So I'll start with the fact that Nigeria being the most populous or most populated country in Africa, and, of course, the 7th most populated country in the world, the youth in Nigeria makes up over 65% of the entire population. And we have not had those 65% actively represented in electoral process. We know for a fact that Nigeria, the Nigerian constitution, Nigerian platform, electoral platform, actually says that there are different age limits on which you can contest or be elected into positions. Like if you have to contest for the presidential seat, you have to be 40 years and above. For gubernatorials and the Senate, you have to be 30, 35 years. And House of Assembly, stroke the House of Representatives, we can have 25 years. But I could boldly say that even though presently we're having a relook at that particular aspect of the Electoral Act, due to the 2014 not too run Act, yeah, if we're having a little bit shift from that, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We still do not have the good number of youths we need to participate from electoral process, from being part of elected positions to being part of appointing positions and to being part of the electoral campaigns. And then it brings me to ask why? Why do we have youths being marginalized? Well, Nigeria is one of the countries in Africa we need to look at who the youth is, or who is a youth basically. And according to the UN, we know that the youth starts from 18 to 38. And I'm sure Nigeria has theirs or has hers as well.
The National Youth
Policy
puts youths between 18 and 35. Yeah.
And I don't know why we don't have youth actively elected in various positions across board.
I'll tell you why. One, I think the first thing is that youths have marginalized themselves.
Themselves?
Yes. The youths have shied back from taking these positions. We think it's enough for us to come on Twitter, to come on social media and rant. It's not enough. You cannot be elected if you're not in a political party. It starts with you joining a political party. It starts with you saying, okay, let me become a part of this political party. Let me work for this party. And then what are the ideals of this party? Which of these parties have a foundation? Which of this party aligns with what I want for myself as a person and for what I want to do for Nigeria? That's the first step. I'm not going to tell you, it's a coincidence that today is my birthday, but I'm not going to tell you how old I am. But in 2013, I made that decision. I looked, and I've been a card-carrying member of the PDP since 2013. And that's because at that point, I mean, I was a very young girl at that point. I had no business being in politics, but there was no age, cap, and I think I met the requirements anyway. So I went up, and I looked at it, and I was looking at all of the candidates, what's going on in this party, what's going on in this party. I grew up in the Southeast, where, of course, ABGA is the party there. And I looked and I said, this is not the party that I want to be. Of course, I understand what this is doing. But for me, I felt like, okay, so what I wanted is a national party. I'm not a nepotist. I believe in everybody, in unity. I believe in the mandate of Atiku and unity. And because that was what I was for, I was looking for a national party, a party that had, that wanted to carry everybody along, that was there for equity, and that's something I'm big on, equity. And then I joined the party, and that it was based on the principles, the ideologies, my personal principles and ideology that I joined the PDP. And then it starts from there. Because you cannot come out and say, I want to be, youths are being marginalized. They don't give us an opportunity to run. We are always this, we are always that. And you don't belong to any party.
Well, I think I beg to differ. Because yes, you're given the opportunity to run, but we know for a fact that democracy or politics in Nigeria is cost intensive.
I that's one. I mean, you're asking of the causes, and the cost is one. Politics is a very, very expensive business. Running for an election is no joke. It's very, very expensive. And of course, by the nature of things, youths are bound to be marginalized because we cannot afford to spend as much as our older counterparts might be afford. They might have to spend, and that's because you've not lived as long as they have. You've not worked as hard or as long as they had. Some of us might have the opportunity to make something early on in life, and this is where what we do is drive for inclusion, financial wise. And then you see parties like the PDP that dropped. There were a lot of concessions that were made for youths. If you want to run, you run at half of the price. There were discounts for youths, and it's there. And the reason they're doing this because they understand these differences between the young and be marginalized on the basis of finances. So we're going to create avenues for you to be involved, and that's what we need to see more of. To get youth to participate, let's begin to give discounts. It's not enough to come out and say not too young to run, and we are shouting it, and they're not too young to run, and then you don't have enough money to run. I mean, what's the point? So let's also try to include youths financially across all the political parties. In fact, there should be, a guide, a national guide, that this is what we're going to follow, just so that we can have more youths participating in elections. But first of all, it starts with the youth. You have to want to be, to be a part of it. You have to be involved. You cannot, someone said, you cannot change the light bulb of a room from outside the room.
True, you have to be in
the room. So if things are not working, or youths are not being represented, or we are not being carried along, you can't change it from outside.
I mean, just the same way we said that women have to take up decision-making roles and leadership roles and get involved in politics and be represented in politics. It's just the same way we need youths to be represented, because I mean, just the same way women have special needs, every young person has special needs as well. So if we have youths who are part of the decision-making table, we would have a headway. We have a headway. I mean, let's look at 2019 elections, for example. According to reports here, we had over 51.1% of youth inclusivity in the 2019 elections, judging from 65% of the general population. So if we have this number, or this percentage rather, of youth who are involved in elections from the campaigns, because I know a lot of people do not have or have not been registered in political parties like you were. And let's also forget the fact that some people are not exposed to opportunities like every other person.
I want to quickly chip this in. I'm sorry to cut you short.
Yeah.
If you want to register, and this is why I said PDP is all inclusive. They're looking at the youth. They're looking at all of youth, Gen Zs. We are in this age where if you're not doing it online, forget about it. Forget about it. And then if you want to register to become a card-carrying member of the People's Democratic Party, all you have to do is go online. You can register to be a member online. It's that simple. It's that easy. So now it's not even a matter of opportunity. Anybody that has access to a mobile phone can be can be a member of the party. Wow. You're not paying. Wow. Nobody's asking you for anything. We're just saying, come and be a part of the change that you want to see. It's that simple, really. I just really I like the passion. Yeah, I like the fact that you have this passion to be a part of electoral process. But let me quickly ask you this question: Have you actually gone into contest for any elective positions? It depends on what you mean by elective positions. I ran in my school as a student, I held elective positions and appointed positions in schools as well. So I mean, if that's what you mean, then yes. As for politics, we'll see.
I think I'm actually big on the People's Democratic Party and their youth inclusivity plan and strategy, right? Because I mean, look at the national youth leader, for example. He falls under the age brackets. Unlike
some other people,
do you understand?
That have the youth coordinator of their campaign council at 48, 47. Oh God,
that's 40 really? Plus. That's really above.
Really, that's not a youth. Tiana, I don't expect Buhari to understand my realities because Buhari is a man. I'm a woman. Buhari is in his 80s. I'm in my 20s. Do you understand? So I don't expect that we think the same way. I don't expect that we share the same thoughts or the same ideologies. We don't. We are two different people. And so I cannot expect that in a meeting where fundamental issues are being discussed, that Buhari is going to represent my interest. True. Buhari will probably not even raise the issue of sexual and reproductive health, for instance. That's something I want, because that's my reality. That's what I face. That's what is important to me. They might not even care if Twitter is banned or this one is banned. But as somebody who is on Twitter, people who make their livelihoods, whose jobs are on Twitter, they'll stay there and they'll argue for social media and say, okay, let's do this way, let's do this way. So if you don't have a youth representing a youth, then you failed it. And that's why I'm happy. The national youth leader of PDP is 25 years. I mean, this is a youth by all standard, by any standard you want to look at it from. This is a youth.
Like you can't take, like you said, you can't take the reality of him being a young person out of it. It's just like you giving a 5-year-old a G-Wagon to drive. She will still act like a 5-year-old because she's a child. Do you understand? So I really buy what you said, and it's the blunt truth. But I'm still on the part that just the same way women are facing marginalization in Nigeria, I think the youth are also facing marginalization in Nigeria. And unlike other countries who are fighting to get their youths to tap into their resilience, into their energy and all of that.
Is a youth. The president of France is a youth. We are not even about to reach there in Nigeria. We're looking at by our acts, our electoral laws. We already excluded youths. If you're looking at the African Youth Charter definition of youth, the UN definition of youth, the National Youth Council definition of youth, youths have been excluded from running for presidency.
No, but then IJ, you said the French president is a youth, yeah, right? But then let's look at it. The vie for electoral position in Nigeria, you're just going to be 5 years over 35 years, because if you're going to run for presidency, you have to be 40 years and above.
40 is not a youth. By all standards, you're not a youth.
But you're just 5 years ahead. You're not so far. It's not like having someone who is 80.
No, I'm saying
being the president of Nigeria.
If we're really saying not too young to run, if we're really trying to get to, then I think what we should do is also look at those age limits and see how we can adjust them to be a little more inclusive. A little more. I feel like somebody at 40 might even understand my realities. I have absolutely no doubt about that. But once you start getting to, the upper limit, then I'm sorry, we've lost touch. We might not be able to agree on the same things, and for good reason. Well,
unless Nigeria makes deliberate effort to include her youth into leadership positions, the youth basically will still be faced with growing challenges, and will still be marginalized. We will not even be involved in electoral process or democracy. True.
That's why there's a disconnect.
That's where communication comes in.
There's a communication gap. Because this person is speaking in a language that we don't understand. You know, when Buhari says, I would speak to them in a language they will understand. I hope he understands the language of the youth, because these people don't understand your language. You're not speaking the same languages. A lot of people that on social media today don't know nothing about Nigeria. That's the sad truth. These people were born in 2000s. They have no idea where Nigeria is coming from. They don't know about the Civil War, save for what has been shown in bits and pieces and from movies. But it's common knowledge that we don't like to read. We don't have a very strong reading culture. So not a lot of people, not a lot of young people know about Nigeria. And let me tell you why this is dangerous. We have 12,298,944 new registered voters in Nigeria. 71% of these are youths. These are people who are going to vote in the next election, or we hope they will vote in the next election. These people don't know where Nigeria is coming from. If you don't know where we are coming from, it will be hard for you to understand where we need to go, so that we don't return to where we are coming from. And these people have not gone. They don't know Nigeria's history. They've not gone to look at where is Nigeria coming from? What are the issues that have held us down? Why was there a civil war in the first place? Unity.
The youth of these days are not even interested. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday. We said the Electoral Act is open there for everybody to go and read rather. But we know that the youth of today have low attention span. Yes, there's low attention span, and nobody wants to take his or her time to read. But it's very important. I mean, it's imperative that every young person at this age bracket. Do you understand?
Do you know that in most developed countries, like if you're in US, for example, you learn about the history. A 7-year-old, a 10-year-old knows about Abraham Lincoln, knows about the contribution of Roosevelt. And we don't, in Nigeria, people, you say Shehu Shagari, everybody's looking at you like this. They don't know who these people are. They don't know who the Sardan of Sokoto was. Like, these people don't know these people or what their contributions to democracy, to Nigeria has been. How are we to move forward when we cannot even remember? We don't know where we are coming from. And this is a very important thing, that we start to educate our youths through the way of media or by even formal education. Personally, I feel like they should introduce courses from primary school, secondary school, where we start to teach people. It's not the program that we do, the Nigerian people and culture or civic. No, that's not enough. Teach people about Nigeria. Let them know where we are coming from. Let them know our history as Nigeria and how we came to be together, what has kept us together, and what we need to do. So that as you know, catch them young. For as little as 7 years, 8 years, you're imbibed that spirit of patriotism. You've known that we are one, we are Nigerians, first and foremost that we are Nigerians, and we need everybody. Because at that age where everybody is relating, you know, at 7 years, at 8 years, you're still impressionable. You're talking with a Yoruba person. At 8 years, I'm sure you didn't even care where this person was from. You know, that impressionable mind that those young, that is the time that you need to start before they're indoctrinated and divided along faulty lines. It's we start from that age to start telling them that this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. This is where we are coming from. These are the problems. This is why you need, Emeka, this is why you need to stay close to Haruna and be friends with Haruna, because people are the ones that are going to build Nigeria. You start telling them from that young age. And it's very hard to unlearn when you've learned at that age. What you've learned there, it's very, very difficult to unlearn. So we start at that point to start telling these people, these are the things that you need to know, because you are the leaders of tomorrow. At least everybody, we feel like we're the leaders, because that's the one thing, that's the only thing we are told. We are the leaders of tomorrow.
But the
how
tomorrow is here.
Be the leaders?
Yes, how will
Nobody
be the,
told us.
True, that's why the tomorrow is here, and none of us have actually been the leaders.
We're still following.
We keep hearing you be the leaders. But I really like what you said, right? Teaching them at that age. I mean, when you teach them at that age, you have them participate fully. Because, I mean, according to INEC data, we had over 82 million at 2019, and we had 51% of youth involvement at 2019. We're having this
84 million
now, and we're having
71%.
We're having 71%, but we need that 71% full engagement, especially in the 2023 elections.
It starts with understanding, because these people are going to engage wrongly. We've seen them in the way they interact online.
True.
They are engaging wrongly because they don't understand what their role is. Like we said yesterday, that everybody has their role to play. INEC has its role to play. The political parties have the role to play. Security operatives, the electorate.
Everyone has their role to play.
A role to play. And it starts with even understanding what the campaign is all about and what we're expected to do. I mean, I don't want us to get ahead of ourselves.
I mean, but then if you're an insider and you're a member of a political party, like you said when we started the show, you don't need so much of training to understand what the political phase or democracy in Nigeria is all about. You stand the chance to, and you have to. I mean, that's why we have every woman here, for you to know and get to have first-hand information of issues like this. All right, guys, we're going to go on a very quick break. When we're right back, we have a guest in the house who we will be introducing to you, and of course, we'll do justice to today's topic. Don't go nowhere. Stay with us.
Greatest challenges, but in the security, infrastructure, or statue of our nation. This is the most challenging situation in almost every facet of the unity of this nation. And there is no one man, as far as the current permutation, the current arrangement is concerned, that is most positioned to salvage and to save the situation like Atiku Abubakar. I'll tell you the truth, we all know the presidential aspirants that are out there. By experience, Atiku is far and above every one of them. He has been an elected governor, he has been a vice president for 8 years, and so many other experiences that he's bringing to board. None of them can boast of that experience. None of them possesses that kind of experience coming into this election. He is the one man who has told us he will unify this country, and we've seen his antecedents. He has friends across the length and breadth of this country like none of those presidential aspirants do. He is a man who has connected well with every Nigerian. He's not a bigot. He's not a tribalist. He's a man who knows nobody after your creed or tribe. He's a man who knows you as a Nigerian. Atiku is a nationalist. Atiku is a patriot. This is the truth of the matter. This is the kind of man that the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, is presenting to Nigerians. And I can assure you, come 2023, Nigerians will live to celebrate. Nigerians will live to be happy with themselves that a man has come to save Nigeria, that Atiku Abubakar has come to save Nigeria, because that has been in the core of his heart. That has been his heart cry for all these decades, for all these years that he has sought to be the president of this country. And I assure you, he will unite warring factions of this country. He will bring about the security of this country. He will bring about the economic development of this nation, and all Nigerians will be proud. Today, Nigeria has become a laughing stock in the scheme of things, and even on the African continent. We used to be the giant who would change that story. Atiku is the best man. He is the right man. He is the man positioned to take this nation to its glory land.
As one, we can get it done.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Every Woman on AtikuLive, and today we're looking at the role of youth in electoral campaigns, and of course electoral process generally. And we have with us here our guest, Honorable Andrew Enantomen. He's the Chief of Staff to the National Youth Leader of the People's Democratic Party. Who else would be better to discuss this topic than someone who is actually at the forefront? So, sir, we're looking at the role of youth in electoral process generally in Nigeria, and would like to ask you firsthand, what do you think, basically, is the role of youth in this forthcoming elections, our projections at the 2023 elections?
Well, thank you very much. As you can see that the 2023 election is taking a different shape entirely. The narratives are changing, the dynamics are changing. It's like before, you can't really predict this election, although it's obvious that Atiku is going to win the election. It's the turn of Atiku. And a lot of people say, how sure are you? Or like when I was on air last time, I told them, I said, it has been signed, sealed, and stamped at the spiritual realm. And we speak with all confidence. And considering the fact that Atiku in itself have placed a major priority. But you can't dispute the fact that the 21st century democracy is being driven by the spirit of young people. The energy is there, the dynamics is there, the enthusiasm is there, the self-motivations are there. And if you look at the way things are going, the young people have actually woken up proud to this era where, young people don't really fall in love, they don't have interest in politics. So the young people are going to be playing a major role. If taking a look at from the political angle, if you look at the People's Democratic Party, youth are playing a very vital role in terms of decision making. Having even electing the youngest national youth leader in the history of political space in Nigeria, in Africa at large, and you can see the innovation, the creativity, the idea, the witty inventions, and the change of narrative in the political space from our own party angle. Take example. The size of the nomination form, size of age, we have them paying less than 300,000 naira, which is something some people can use to buy a bottle of wine. But for the first time in the history of political party, our youth leader was able to bring in that innovation, was able to champion that cause to ensure that young people are actually given a space in the political field in order for them to play the major role, because we can't keep on clapping and say we don't have a chance, but you need somebody to create that chance for you. True. And that's what Prince Mohammed Suleiman Kandede have come to do for this young generation in PDP by giving them a voice. If you look at last week alone, he been nominated by an affiliate of United Nations, to be among the most influential youths, in Africa. Aside that, yesterday again, I received another message again. Nigeria Service Award, nominated him again for the most youngest personality in Africa. We've had series of encouragement because people are seeing what we're doing. People that are close to you might not even feel it, but people outside can feel the impact of what we're doing. So as a result of that, for the first time in the history of our party, we have young people that are coming to occupy the corridors of power. Because if you look at a lot of people that bought from and those people that won primaries, we have so many young people in it. And that was as a result of the influence of our national youth leader, because he was able to influence so many things. He was able to make some certain decisions because he's among the key decision makers of the party. So because of the reduction of form, most young people find it very easy to purchase the form. The screening processes was still very, very much flexible because of young people, because of his own influence. As well, a lot of people skate through the screening processes, and the primary, majority of the people skate through the primaries too. And we're very confident that because of the impact and the influence that our principal presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar is going to bring in to ensure that we win the presidential election. Young people too are going to occupy House of Assembly, House of Rep, even Senate. We have so many young people, that are going to skate through these processes. And those are part of the things that you see we are happy that are getting involved in our political space.
I'd like to pick up from there. I mean, we were at the inauguration of the PCC, and what we saw in the campaign council were young people. We saw young people like us that Absolutely. We are part of the campaign council.
Absolutely.
And I want to ask, now coming from you, for the campaign council, for a man who is not even yet president, to have included this number of young people in the campaign council, are we going to see this transcend to him making an appointment, because he has promised that there will be 35 to 40% inclusion for women and youths? Absolutely.
Of course, Atiku sending the party just is already on record. He's said it time and time again. But Atiku, as you know, is a man of his word. He's not just anyhow kind of personality. He has proven that over and over again. He has been at the corridors of power for a very long time. The experience is there, the strength is there, the passion to make Nigeria great is there. And considering the fact that he has seen that there is a need for him to hand over to the young generation, so he needs to groom the young generation. That's one of the things he's doing. So what he's doing actually is very deliberate. If you look at the composition of the campaign council, we have so many young people. People were calling us, doing thank God for the first time. I say, yes, this is actually our dream. Seeing young people get involved in politics. My principal always encourage young people, look, if you cannot obtain election, if you cannot come in through a normal mainstream election, going through party politics, we encourage them a lot. That's why if you come to our office, it's so open to all. So innovation, to creativity, to ideas, to witty invention. Office of National Leader right now is like a solution center for young people. We can ask anybody at that. It's proud to this period that the office is so rigid. And the chief of staff and the office is so flexible. So many people come in with different problems, and we're able to provide solutions to them. We share ideas with them, we relate with them. The office is so open. My principal is somebody who is so liberal and is open to all. Very, very much accessible. Now, being that as it may, Atiku on his own, they meet feed that, okay, good, if we have a young guy that is this dynamics, as a national youth leader in the history of People's Democratic Party, let's give him a lot of space, because there are so many people that believe so much in him. Because one thing is this, a friend of a president is a president. So if we give the young man a chance at the corridors of power, that means a lot of people that are associated with him too will feel the impact of governance. That is just the principle. Of course, if PDP wins, I'll be at the corridor of power. Definitely, I can't deny the fact that I don't know you. I don't know the next person. It's not possible because I've known you. So automatically, we are all together at the corridors of power. Sure. So it's our responsibility to ensure that we make things work. That's the reason why we always tell people, look, do everything you can to ensure that PDP gets back to power. Because if your party is not in power, you are like an orphan. There are things I can do when my party is in power. I can't do it when my party is not in power because I don't have that coverage.
You cannot speak and your voice will be heard.
You understand? But when my party is in power, I have that confidence, I have that courage, I have that charisma, I have that motivation, I have that enthusiasm to keep speaking. So those are the things we look at for. So national leaders have been able to create that platform for young people to have their voice, for their voice to be echoed back once again. Because part of this period, young people actually lost their voice, and because of power, nobody could speak for them.
We were speaking on the streets because we didn't have the opportunity to speak on the floor, in the House of Assembly, where our voices should have been heard.
Absolutely, this is more reason why the channel have been created through the Office of the National Leader to ensure that young people actually get opportunity to get to the corridors of power by ensuring that they have the purchasing power. Because you need a purchasing power to be able to get to the corridors of power in Nigeria political system, the way it's structured. And that purchasing power has to require liquid funds to be able to buy from. So if you've not eaten, if you're not satisfied, if you're hungry, you might not think of buying form of politics. But naturally, I have been able to crash the purchase of forms, political forms, drastically in such a way that you can easily buy the form. And not just buying the form, he still supports you morally, encourage you to ensure that you skate through even most of the primaries. It backs so many people. A lot of people have testimonial today because we have somebody at the seat of power who carry his own people along. He even wants to carry so many people along. So people that don't even have a voice today, they can have a voice, they can have people they can affiliate with and associate with at the national, because they have somebody who is at the end of it who keeps speaking on their behalf. And this is what we actually want. We want to change the narrative. We want to change the concept, because we can't say we are the leaders of tomorrow and there is nobody to actually, we need somebody to always front for you.
On our behalf.
You need somebody to speak on your behalf, to raise your shoulder up. Of course, everybody cannot be the number one, but somebody must be the number one. Okay. And when the person is number one, you need to back up the person morally so that he will have that zeal to keep pushing in order for to drive the narrative and carry the rest of people along.
All right, just to buttress on what IJ asked earlier, and just to say what you said earlier, aside from having the youths in the corridors of powers, let's look at the major benefits of youth participation in post-election, after the elections, because
Fantastic.
I know we would have youth being a part of the elections, pre-elections, and their promises everywhere rather. So let's look at major benefits of youth participation in post-elections.
Fantastic. You see the fear of a lot of young people that have come to our office and go down, now Andrew, after this election, our people will not be forgotten, our people will not be abandoned. And I made them to understand that, look, this is a different system entirely. That have always been the fear post-election, that we'll try our best. You've told us to work, told us to go back to our homes, to go back to our villages. Of course, majority of us are grassrooters, you know, we came from the village. My unit, you know, I have a very strong relationship down to my unit level. Same thing with a lot of young people, because our principal have encouraged that, look, you must be associated with your village people, because that is where the election is.
That came with your village people.
You understand? you understand? That is where the election is. Those village people, they actually determine majority of
lot of things.
You know, they determine a lot of things. You see an old man in the village that cannot even read and write. He controls over a 500, 600 people in the village.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm telling you, he can't read and write, but he will determine who win the election in that polling unit.
Yeah.
Sure.
An old man. He lives in a month house, but he determines who becomes the local government chairman.
Yes.
He doesn't have money, but his influence is very strong. So that's the more reason why we tell young people, look, you can't stay at the capital city to make an influence, or stay online to make an impact. Many of us that you see are little influential today because we have our roots down to the grassroots. I know the major role I play in the emergence of my governor. My governor cannot deny that fact. You understand? Same thing with a lot of people. That is the power of having your network and your connectivity with the grassroots. Now, post-election, a lot of people were disenfranchised, abandoned, and hold over. That fear is still very much there. But we can assure you that with the era of the present national youth leader, it's not going to be like that. In as much as the young people pray for the national youth leader to keep succeeding, the truth remains, in as much as the more he succeeds, the more we that are his followers, the more we succeed. That is the beauty, because the narrative are going to change. It's not going to be a business as usual. The narrative will change. Somebody is coming to set the pace. And that's what Prince Mohammed candidate is coming to do. So when we get to the corridor of power, I can assure you are not changing. You can hold us accountable. Of course, you can see it already in the system of political party, party politics playing out already. We're changing the indices, bringing young people in power, giving them voice, giving them hope again, making them understand that actually you can actually access corridors of power. Unlike prior to this era, where even you can access people at your leaders at the party politics level, you can access them. They become like so heavy. But this era, you can see that our party politics leader, they are very much accessible, because there is an NWC member of People's Democratic Party that makes accessibility of their people accessible to the leaders. And that's the way it should be, because I cannot elect you as my leader. Of course, as I am now, I have a relationship with almost all the leaders in my state. If I call you once, twice, you don't pick, no problem. I won't call you again. That's the truth, because I am self-sustaining. I don't depend on my state leader to survive. So you are accountable to me because I elected you. I'm a part of the people that determine how you emerge in my state.
As every Nigerian citizen does.
You understand? You understand? Of course, because in my senatorial district, I have a senator in my senatorial district that represents me, and he has my vote. So if I be the one that if I'm going to campaign for you, then you are accountable to me.
Yes.
True.
I have the House of Representative member. He has my vote, and you are accountable to me. Same thing with my local government chairman. Same thing with my House of Assembly member. So you must be accountable to me. So you have no reason to decline my call.
True.
So if when you are approaching me to vote you into corridors of power, you are accessible, you are approachable, you are open, then immediately you won the election, I can't access you, then you're not qualified, you're not fit to be a leader. And that's why we're missing it. So that's why we're giving young people a hope back again. That look, with the emergence of Atiku and young people having their voice again in the government of Atiku Abubakar, of course, be rest assured that a lot of young people are going to be involved. This government is going to be free, because if you know, there are so many opportunities. Agencies are there, parastatals are there, ministries are there. You understand? And if the young people are going to take 35% affirmative action of a city, of a government that Atiku have promised us, you should know what that is. You'll be amazed that in the next 3-4 elections, a 40-year-old can be a president in this country.
Yeah.
If Atiku started with this 35% affirmative action for young people and women and people with disability, take it from me, by 2027, 2031, young people are going to, at least 80% of Senate, 80% of House of Rep will be young people. By then, you will have, by 100% will have a House of Assembly. Do you know the strategy that my principal is putting in place now to ensure that young people actually occupy corridors of power much more than National Youth is doing right now? He encourages people and tell them, look, if you cannot come in through go and buy form for House of Assembly or House of Rep, just go as a young person. Why not just go and try as much as possible to be a world leader? Belong to the world school. From there, you can influence who becomes your local government chairman at the party level. If young people below 30 are all executive at the world level, do you know they are not going to vote somebody who is 70 years to be their local government chairman?
True.
They will not. They will ensure they influence at least somebody within their age grades to become the local government chairman. That level and at the council level, they will ensure that people of their same grades fill in that category. You see, if things begin to take shape, that alone, because those people are the one, the delegate that will determine who becomes the Senator House of Rep, they too will vote their own grade to occupy Senator House of Rep.
So gradually we are.
I think narrative not changing.
Yes.
That's how
the creativity we talked about. That has to take over.
Sure.
It's not overnight. At that level, if young people below 40 are already occupying House of Assembly, House of Rep, and Senate, I can assure you, at least 40 to 50 years will become the president of this country. Because if that influence is so strong, the president doesn't have a choice than to ensure that his ministerial cabinet is not less than 50.
True.
You will not begin to see the economy will be moving. Insecurity will be a thing of the past. Like our research policy, right? Our research policy right now, our foundation that we're reading our policy document on. We talked about the restructuring, the education, the security. You understand? The evolution of power, of course, is definitely there. The technology and the economy. You understand? So we're going to develop power to ensure that at least at the state level, what can you do at your various states? Because the national, the federal is too populated. State government is going to be empowered. Of course, I know Atiku is definitely going to do that to ensure that you give state government opportunity, bring in your potential, bring in your best, develop your state, ensure that you bring quality people from your state to impact the country. You understand? You're doing that and everybody is productive. Said on idle mind is the devil's workshop. If you're doing that and everybody is productive, it's quite an insecurity to be a thing of the past. Research policy not going. When you are doing that, the economy will begin to revive because a state that discovers its potential, definitely you will boost your own economy. Is it not going? When you are doing that, you need to educate your own people to ensure that they have they're able to see into your vision. Because they read the vision upon tablet, that don't read it, might run with it. So when you educate them, they will see your own vision as a leader. And while doing that, you need to write on 21st century democracy through technological practices. So that's the research principle that Atiku is going to build on.
Amazing.
So we are prepared for the business. I've tried time with that number. Governance is a serious business. It's not for children. It's not a child's play. So if you're not ready for it, you should not have any business being in government. So 2023 we're not taking any chances. We're not leaving any stone unturned. Of course, we're not allowing anybody to come and make toys or come and play kalo with Nigerian government. We've done that in the past, enough of it. You know, we've given them a chance and they messed up. So of course, we're taking over the government, the power that belongs to us. I've said it, even 2015, of course, we're brainwashed, deceived, cajoled, and of course, Nigeria fell into the trap. We allowed it go. 2019, Nigeria got woken up. The mandate was stolen. Of course, people call that power, they know how to make use of power, to use the instrument of government to victimize, oppress, and intimidate their people. But we don't care. But 2023, our mandate will be taken by fire, by force. Anywhere they want it in peace. Oh, of course, we are ready. Of course, PDP is a structural party that is ready for peace. But if they want it the other way around, oh, of course, we are two-edged sword this time around. It's not a child's play, and we mean business with them.
We're not promoting violence.
No, not at all. We were peace-loving people. We've proven that time and time with that number. That's why even most of the things, if we had wanted to follow the mantra at which this present ruling APC government are running their administration, of course, Nigeria will have been on fire by now. But we didn't want to follow them because they rode their government. They came into government through propaganda. That's why they couldn't sustain the economy because they were never prepared for it. You don't run government on propaganda. So that's why PDP, we're not structured the way APC they are structured. Of course, they are political parties that just come together to chant a way forward without having a pre-planned vision. It's not ideology that drives them. There's no vision that drives them. But we were built on structure. We're built on vision. And that's what we're driving on. That's why you see there's so many things they do that we cannot just do.
Sure.
We are refined politicians. And we believe in the unity of this country. We believe in the sanctity of this country. That's the more reason why Atiku, we call him a unifier. That's the more reason why he cannot have 95% over 5%. How do you have a city government, a city president that sectionalizes the country, and you want to move forward as a nation? It's not possible. Your people will mess you up.
Wow, Honorable, this has been an amazing time with you here in the studio. But just one last question before we leave, right? It's no news that the youth presently are disenfranchised, and of course we have high rates of voter apathy. Absolutely. Now, I want to look at the way out and the way forward for 2023 elections. How do we get this youth involved practically for electoral process between now and the 2023 elections?
Fantastic. The way we can get the youth involved in this electoral processes is this. The political party across board, let me speak across board now, right? Including PDP, APC, Labour Party, and a whole lot of others. The way we can get them involved across board is this: engage them politically. Don't use them as thugs. These are young potentials. You kill your potentials, you kill the destiny of your country. That's what politicians are doing. You use your young people as thugs, you render them useless. Make them understand the potentials and the power on the inside of them. Give them political assignments. You get what I'm saying now? Ensure that they are involved in the decision making at the unit level, at the ward level, at the local government level. Not really making them leaders, but of course you can give them assignment. Okay, good. 20 youth, 50 youth, as also clans, also unit. Okay, 50 of you. You are responsible to ensure you galvanize the people, sensitize the people, orientate the people, make sure they get their PVC. Just give them assignment. Young people want to be involved with, even without remunerations. That is how passionate young people are. So make use of that opportunity. We have a lot of young potentials. It will help to bounce back on the economy. If you want the economy to flow, to excel, to progress, bring in the power of young people. Don't undermine the potential of young people, because there lies in them the strength that will make your economy grow. You want to ensure that insecurity is reduced drastically, encourage and involve young people in your system. If you want to make sure their education go, give young people opportunity to go back to school. You can actually do it. Pay attention. That's the more reason why you must hand over government to somebody who understands the value of what destiny and future is all about. You don't hand over government to a mediocre, somebody who never value education, somebody who don't value security, somebody who don't know me of technology, somebody who don't know me of economy. You want to hand over government to them? No. Atiku is vast in all this area. That's the more reason why Nigerians want to hand over government to Atiku. Nigerians have made up their mind that there's nothing anybody can do about it. Atiku is the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that settles it. And we mean it with all seriousness. Whether they like it or not, Atiku is going back to Asorok in 2023. And we mean it. Not because of Atiku, but because of the young people that their destinies are tied in the hands of the elders. They need to prepare their way for us to go. John the Baptist must have to prepare a way for Jesus to come in. So Atiku is going there to prepare a way for the young people to take over. Do you understand? This is the more reason why we are shouting Atiku needs to come on board. Not because of him. Of course, Atiku will never be poor. His children will never be poor. His grandchildren will never be poor. But there are young people on the street that don't have hope again. We need somebody to give them a hope. That's why we're bringing this man on board to come and give the young people a hope. And Atiku is the hope of the young generation. He's the father to all. He has proven that times and time without number. He's healthy, he's intelligent, he's business-oriented, academic standard, everything you can talk about. Is it international connection you want to talk about? Is it the security spirit you want to talk about? Or is it economic revival you want to talk about? It's all-encompassing in all. And you're going to be amazed at the cabinet we're going to form. Not this kind of cabinet after 1 year still struggling to. As I talk to you right now, our cabinet is already ready.
Thank you so much. I don't know if IJ has any other question.
I mean, I have questions, but we're out of time. This has been really amazing. I mean, just restating the things that we've been saying all along, that, I mean, we're not trying to take out our elders or not listen to them. We need them, and they need to continue to play that role for us. Absolutely. And we need to work hand in hand with them. But we need to be given an opportunity to also bring what we have to the table.
I think one of the major things I picked from what Honorable said is taking over is a gradual process. There have to be a plan. There has to be a strategy. You don't just come out and like, okay, we
can't take over with 1 million match. We cannot take over with Twitter.
And of course, you have to take over with experience, because your experience can come when you don't learn under the elders. So it's as simple as allowing the elders or letting the elders clear the way for the young people to take over. Thank you so much, comrade. I mean, at one moment, beautiful time here at the studio with Honorable Andrew. The youth need to wake up and be a part of the system. Be a part of the system, and of course, take over is a gradual process. We don't take over with violence or with fight. We take over with step
Actions.
one step at a time. All right, guys, till I see you guys again tomorrow. It's been a beautiful time. Please do well to send us what you think to all our social media handles. My name is Tiela World Barcy, and it's bye for now from the studio.
My name is Ijoma Odumodo. I'll just say the youth are no longer the leader of tomorrow. We are the leaders today, and that leadership, it rests on you.
True.
Make the right decision in 2023, and it could come a lot faster.